Okay, here we are with another segment of Hey Father Mike, and we have new questions from a bunch of our parishioners, adults and kids from our Tri-Parish. And our first question today is, what are 3 to 5 words to describe yourself?
Oh, 3 to 5 words. Well, first of all, I guess I would like to say that I'm compassionate. Second of all, I guess the word that comes to mind is I like adventure. So many different things I've tried in life, and even within my priesthood, going to the far reaches of the diocese and working out there has been quite an adventure. So that type of thing. And I would like to, I guess a third one that I would come to be would be that I am loyal to my friends and my family. So I guess those are the 3 words that come.
Okay. And last time we had asked if you like coffee or tea, and Colton wants to know if you like creamer in your coffee or doesn't.
I put chocolate milk into my coffee, so I drink coffee mocha.
Oh.
So I buy chocolate milk at the store, and now this is very interesting because I've been buying chocolate milk here at Dick's, and I've been getting one brand, but now Dick's has been encouraging us to buy local. And so Lamer's Dairy is there, so I've been buying now Lamer's chocolate milk. And it's better. It's a better tasting chocolate milk, so I recommend Lamer's. That really is good.
It is. Yeah. Actually, we just went there yesterday and bought Lamer's. They're not doing ice cream cones right now, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, but you still get your ice cream and buy it and get your chocolate milk. So the confirmation students want to know, what is your favorite saint and why?
I guess my favorite saint would be St. Paul. And I like Paul because Paul struggled with his calling in the sense of where he was and how the Lord knocked him off his horse, and he went blind and all of these circumstances before he actually found faith and found Jesus Christ in his life. And I like Paul because he had a real sense of adventure. He went out there and he was undaunted. You know, he just went all over what would be at that time the modern world around the Mediterranean Sea, to Istanbul and Turkey and all these areas, Greece. He traveled everywhere, and it was never an easy journey, but he was tenacious in the sense of his faith. He was on fire, and he had to share that. And it wasn't like the Lord tested him. He had a lot of tests in his life, a lot of struggles. But again, he really lived the faith, and he took it to the outreaches, which I really like. He took it to the non-Jewish people, and he did the best he could all the way to the end.
He also had 3 journeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 long journeys. He traveled further than any apostle.
Correct. That's right. He did much further. At least as what we know. Now there is mythology that says some of the apostles even went further. But yes, from the scriptures, he did.
And he was a tent maker too, right? So
he
had to do a job along the way.
Yeah, he always said it wasn't freeloading. He earned his own income. So wherever he was teaching and preaching, he went back to his trade to earn his income. And that was important to him. Yeah.
Good. So what is a Bible story that resonates with you?
A Bible story. Mm-hmm. Old Testament or New Testament?
Let's do Old Testament. Since you just talked about St. Paul in the New Testament, let's pick Old Testament.
The story I like Abraham in his whole searching, how he was called to lead the people to a new land, to a new possibility. I like it because, in a sense, this really is antiquity. Abraham becomes the father of many major religions. And his relationship with God and his wonderful relationship with his wife, Sarah. You know, the wonderful line, and Sarah laughed when she was going to be pregnant at a very old age. And she was pregnant. But I like that because it comes out of the oral tradition, and it's wonderful storytelling in the sense of how God chose a people chose a person the first time, and how they went out and traveled and trusted the Lord to eventually end up in Israel.
So God chose Abraham. Abraham listened, and he blessed him. And there's kind of this one comes up a lot, especially with the middle schoolers and high schoolers, but Grace wants to know more about purgatory. What do Catholics believe about purgatory?
Well, yes. Again, this is a later development in the church, okay? Jesus spoke about heaven and hell, spoke about salvation, heaven, okay? But later developments in the church, as we advanced, okay, went beyond Constantine and becoming the Roman Empire, becoming Christian, and a development. And what happened is that a theology started to develop. A theology is a study of faith in the sense of an articulation. And what happened there was the question, could a person enter into heaven without baptism? Could you enter into heaven without baptism? As baptism became the norm for people to enter into the church, that question was asked. And so a variety of answers came forth, and one of them was no, you could not. So if you could not enter heaven because you were not baptized, okay, then that whole thing, that led to limbo, okay, and then purgatory was the whole aspect of sin. That even though Christ removed our sin, that our choices would affect in the sense of whether we would go to heaven or go to hell. We would be judged. Now, Scripture is very clear on what the judgment is. It's about what have we done? How have we fed the poor? How have we clothed the naked? How have we helped people who are in need? How have we visited the prisoner? It's about action, okay? So purgatory then came about because it was kind of an answer in the sense that you're not perfect, you made mistakes, God forgives, but there's a purifying aspect to, in a sense, before you enter into the fullness of heaven. Before we see the face of God, we need to purify ourselves. So, purgatory came about. So, the church says you need to believe in heaven and hell and purgatory. But in many ways, purgatory has always been kind of a murky area because it hasn't been clearly defined. So the wonderful thing, and you might say, what's the difference between purgatory and limbo? Purgatory, you know you're going to get into heaven. Limbo, you never know. You're not going to. Okay? So if you say, if you're never going to see the face of God, what's the difference between limbo and hell? Nothing. Because you're not going to see the face of God. That's the thing. The face of God. It's not the condition in which you live. It's seeing God himself. So, purgatory, you have that hope that someday you will see the face of God.
And we have St. Faustina. The Diary of St. Faustina also talks about purgatory and talks about the image that was drawn, painted by an artist of Jesus, I trust in you. And we have that image, I think, in every single church. So, but that would be the Divine Mercy image. So another one would be, what is the biggest misconception of the Catholic Church? What do you think would be the biggest misconception of what people think of the Catholic Church, but that's not true?
I think the biggest misconception for the Catholic Church is, at this time, would be that we are not welcoming. That not all people are welcome. I think, and this has developed over time for a variety of reasons, and most of the time it has been moral issues. Divorce, abortion, these issues, these moral issues, the use of contraception, all of these things. And so people have, because they maybe have not agreed with the church, they immediately said that we have pushed them away then. And that's not the case. Not the case at all. And that has not been the intention of the church, is to push people away. The intention of the church is to help guide people in making good moral decisions. You know, when you make a moral decision, what do? You use prayer. Obviously you reflect upon that. Then the other element is you consult other entities. And what do you consult? Friends, family, professionals. And there is this spiritual dimension where you consult God and also your Christian community to help guide you in making a good moral decision. And the church supports that process. So in the sense, as these moral issues continue to present themselves, the church helps to guide us in the sense of making a decision. So that, again, we are informed, and you have to be informed in order to make a decision, a moral decision in a sense. And sometimes people go, well, how often do I make a moral decision? You make a moral decision pretty often in your life, you know? Especially living in a relationship. If you're living in a relationship, there's a lot of morality issues that kind of come around. Some are small, some are larger, but again, this is the process. So I think part of the struggle for us is that people feel we're not welcoming. And that is something we have had to work at and continue to work on. But there is many misconceptions, because out on the street, there's a lot of opinions out there. And even for Catholic people who will tell others and say, well, you're not welcome here because, you know, this happened in your life. Well, that's not true. It's not true. But those are some of the realities that sometimes happen.
So we'll end on a real easy one here. What is your favorite prayer?
I would say right now it would be the Rosary right now. And again, I find that to be very practical for me and very helpful. And it complements, you know, the prayer of Christians, the breviary. So again, I kind of like that part, especially now that I'm not doing a lot of public prayer. So it's very different. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, good.